this was something I think it was percolating in my mind too. This may or may not apply to the process that we do kind of in the modern day. But I know John Romero is pretty famous for saying, like, do your first level last. Obviously, in the early access days that we're in now, that's like kind of hard to do, right? You're kind of building it in real time and kind of hooking players that way. Being that you've said that the first level, right, if I'm not mistaken, was quote unquote the weakest part of the game. Am I reading that correctly? That was something you're saying. Is that something that?
Well, no, I was gonna say, yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah, episode 1 was the one that we made first, but episode 0, the demo, I think is like our strongest. But yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my question was just more of like a thought experiment. Is there any wisdom to that you can take to your next project, or anything that might be informed? Like, is there any way to apply that to the early access model, you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think. Oh, I don't know if you could apply that to the early access model, but I definitely think that, like, yeah, because like the cityscape level is definitely like the weakest level of the game, so it is a little bit. There's a little bit of whiplash when you go from playing something as strong as like the prelude level to playing the cityscape level, which is nowhere near as strong. I think if you're going to apply that to like the early access model, you almost kind of. You want to put your best work on display first. You almost want to make, you want to make your first. I agree with that sentiment. You want to make your first level last. But when it comes to like doing something that's early access, you kind of have to. If you want to get something out there that people are playing and enjoying, you want to put your best foot forward. I don't know. I guess all I could say is it challenges the early access model a little bit, because if you want to make money, or you want to, get something, get a product out there, put your best foot forward. So it almost seems it's a little bit. So I guess my thoughts on that are, it seems a bit contradictory. So I guess what I'm saying is, I think John Romero is right. I think John Romero is absolutely correct in saying you should make your first level last. And I think that actually doesn't work, and I agree with that, but I think that also doesn't work super well with the early access model, especially since early access is meant to be a way to like let people experience your game ahead of time. So I think that would be my thoughts on it.
Do you get a little concerned, like when you put a demo out? And of course, in early access, the development period can be quite lengthy. But that demo, of course, represents how that game worked and looked at a certain moment in time. Do you get afraid that people will look at a demo and think to themselves, nah, it's not for me, when in reality you've been working on the game for like 2 years since then, and it's in a much different sort of state?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I think for us, the demo was a pretty good representation of what the game ultimately ended up being. I think in the in our case, I think it was maybe a little bit kind of the opposite, where people played the demo and then first chapter, the big cityscapes level ended up being a little bit weaker than the demo, but our best chapters of the game ended up coming after episode 1, right? So I mean, I think if I had to do kind of like a curve, right, the demo is I think probably one of the better levels of the game. Episode 1, the big cityscape, is probably the weakest, and then episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4 are much stronger. So I think in our case, demo sets the bar pretty high. Play the game, it's like episode 1 isn't that great. So I think if anything, we ended up setting the standard for ourselves pretty high with that. So I think we had kind of the inverse problem, where the demo set people's expectations pretty high, and then they ended up we ended up following that up with a much weaker presentation for the whole thing. So I think that's, for us, we had kind of the opposite problem. But I can understand that. I know that was an issue that I think what's his name, Jason Smith, Cultic creator, had that kind of issue. Yeah, where he kind of felt that the demo ultimately didn't end up being representative of what the final product would end up being. So it's a valid concern, and I think it's developers feel that. I think in our case, that wasn't necessarily the case, because our finished product ended up not changing a whole lot from the demo.
We have guest questions. So for the for Patrick, this question is for you then. So our previous guests, they ask a question to you, and then you're offered the opportunity to forward a question to our next guest to kind of keep that chain going. In terms of our previous guest, it was Technoplasm's developer Mothership Loudspeakers, and big shout out to him. He joined the show. He was very clearly tired. It was late for him. Absolute champion for stepping up and doing that. So he didn't ask a normal developer question to you, Patrick. His question was, what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
It literally says it in the script in commas, baby, don't hurt me. Oh my god.
Ain't life beautiful?
Absolutely brilliant.
That's my answer. I mean...
That's some circle of life shit right there.
Yeah, Hadaway, you gave us that for decades now. Appreciate it. And because the Mothership Loudspeakers, I hope you're happy with that answer. It was literally exactly what we predicted it would be. So for our next episode, it's approaching Halloween, so it's going to be a Halloween special, and two previous guests, just like yourselves, are going to be coming back to join us, and that is Herc, and that is Proxidist. Herc from Horror Visuals, I should say, and Proxidist, the YouTuber who also loves horror games. So, do you have any questions, Patrick, for either of those guests that are kind of horror related?
No, but I think I'm going to continue the tradition of just an absurd question.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Okay, I think I've got it. I'm going to go with another equally absurd one. All right, so let's say you've got a pile of, let's say 10,000 coins, heads and tails, right? And one of those coins has got heads on both sides. Right, you guys tracking with me so far?
Okay.
So let's say you draw. Let's say you draw a random coin from that pile, and you flip that coin 10 times, and it turns up heads every time. What is more likely, that you picked the coin that had the rigged coin with the heads on both sides, or that you just, by sheer chance, flipped heads 10 times in a row? So which is more likely? Did you pick the rigged coin, or did you just don't answer it? Just ask that to those guys.
I like it. That's cool.
What? Oh my god!
You know that?
All right then.
Yeah, just think about it.
No doubt.
Just
Don't
put them on the spot on that. Don't let them look at the answer. Just let them have a go at it.
Yeah, as Limp Bizkit once said, just think about it. You'll get it.
Yeah.
That worldly wisdom.
Nick, you just did Fear, didn't you? So why did we just
did Fear? Yes.
Yeah.
Relative to the birth of the sun, it basically just happened. Yes.
So let me ask you the same question for them then, because I feel like with you having doing Fear and System Shock and stuff, that you should have that. So Proxidist and Herc, and I'll edit this into the question part. If you had a horror question, what would it be?
Why do you like scary games? Like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? Like, is it a fear of fears? There's some, like, why? Why would you do that to yourself?
What is the appeal of horror games? Yeah.
In so many words, yes. Exactly. What is? Yeah. I don't get it, but I'm sure it's for them.